Hey, hello everyone, and welcome back to another video in our channel. And today is Friday, finally Friday. Oh my goodness, I can't believe after a long, but a long week of work, I am exhausting, and finally it's Friday. Happy Friday, everyone. So let's continue here. And today we are gonna bring in, it might be a little bit controversial, you know, but the question is, do you really think that is important or necessary to be fluent or proficiency in English in order to get an international job or to work remotely or to work in on site or working in a customer facing uh, job or activity or public speaking? So you see, there are different levels of fluency required to each one of those activities, right? So, and then another question, what is the difference between proficiency and fluency? You know, even though those two words are similar, they are slightly different, right? Slightly different. So, for example, take a little child, a toddler, a 5 years old kid, or 3, 4, 5 years old kid. They might be very fluent in their mother tongue, right? But they are not proficiency, right? You know the different aspect of fluency and proficiency. You see. So, for example, even in Portuguese, if you take a very little child that, for example, 2, 3, 4 years old, they might be fluent, but they are not proficiency by no means, right? So that's at least my opinion regarding to proficiency in advanced levels and fluency. They are slight difference in this aspect, right? So, for example, if you want to work as a CIO or a director or work in a high level positions, it will, of course, it will require a good level of English. You need, you will need to know different expressions, different ways to express yourself in a wide variety of vocabulary. You will need this. But in my case, I would say, as a software architect in IT field, because I work with a very limited group of people, and then we don't need to. I don't need to speak with clients, right? Even though, let's put in that way. I work in a Spanish company, but of course the client, quote unquote, the client is British client. So during the day I need to speak part of time in Spanish and other part of time with in English. So the normal day is like this. I start the day and we have the daily meetings, and the first one is in Spanish, right? So few people there talking about the things that we did before and in the day before, and the things that we are planning to do during the day. But it starts in Spanish, and after that, I think half hour later, we have a English daily meeting with the client, quote unquote client. But we are all developers and we are working together, right? So in that case, I think I don't need a high level of vocabulary. Of course, if I increase my proficiency in English, it will be good, right? All things that you can improve, it will be good for you. But in my case, I don't think it's required, right? At least in my position, working as a software developer in that kind of company. So because people will understand you and people will help you, right? But one thing that I could give you as advice. So try to stick with the basic things. Try to not get so complicated in the vocabulary, right? So try to be efficient and precise in the communication. So that will solve a lot of problems. Try to be very specific when you are trying to explain certain aspects of your job. So for me, it's okay, it's very okay. So, for example, if I have an activity A and activity B, and then I start to explain how that activity works, if I have some blocks, if I have some difficulties to complete that task, and that's it. I don't need to do a very elaborated expressions. No, 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 no. I don't need this. But of course, there are different levels, different roles in the company that you need to do a presentation, give a speech, or public speaking. It will require, of course, it will require a good level of English, right? So, of course, if you can improve the way you speak in a foreign language, it will help you to get the best opportunities, right? And this is the thing that I want to show you here. So let me bring in this article. This article is from LinkedIn, right? I will let the link in the description. So this article highlights the importance of fluency and proficiency in the global market. You can read this article and see what they are talking about here, right? But one thing, the market requires more and more people that can speak English. In this case, they are talking about the proficiency, but if you have at least let's put in this way, communicational level of English, it will be good for you in certain kind of work, right? And then let me bring another one that has to do with the same topic, the same subject. And then it highlights the global dominance of English, right? And then they say that English is the lingua franca in the world, in the modern world. And then we see that it's the primary medium of communication. Because you see, for example, in the company that I work today, we have a different people from different countries and with different cultures, right? And then you need to have a common language in order to make everyone communicate. So in that scenario, you see that there are different level of English in your team, right? So for example, I am Brazilian, and then there are other person in the team that are from Germany, other from Spain, and other from Japan, and so on and so forth. So bear this in mind that you will communicate with different accents, different levels of English, right? That's why I think it's not required to be very sophisticated when you are in the normal meetings in software development, right? And then I will bring in a different opinion here from this guy. So this guy is incredible because he is a polyglot, right? He is a polyglot, and I think he speaks more than 12 languages. I'm not sure, but let's listen a little bit the opinion of Stephen Kaufman. How he say about this topic about the proficiency and in a foreign language.
But in the description box is a discussion between, as I say, Luca and Anthony, where they sort of make the point that you don't need to have a large vocabulary in order to be fluent. And Anthony has in the past sort of said that even with a few hundred words you can be fluent, or you can be fluent at a relatively low level of proficiency.
So here, the Steve is discording with other guy called Luca, right? Because in the opinion of Luca, he thinks that it's not necessary to have a wide variety of vocabulary, but this guy has a different opinion, right?
See, in a language, I don't agree at all. First of all,
you see, I don't agree at all.
Oh, let's look at this word fluency. Fluency is a bit like the word good or well, you know.
Yeah, you see, fluency means good, well.
If you say I'm fluent in a language, that actually means that you are very fluent. If you say I speak a language well, it means that you speak it well. If you say I speak...
So, in his opinion, when you are fluent, he thinks that you speak well and very well, right?
the language quite well, or I'm quite fluent, that suggests actually something less than fluency. And so if you are able to say a few things in the language, you might even suggest that I'm sort of fairly fluent in the language, but that's, to my mind, less than fluent. So in the video, they both talk about how Anthony can go around town in Prague and doesn't need many words to,
Yeah, in this case, you see, it has nothing to do with the jobs or the companies or in business scenarios, but for example, if you go to the coffee shop and if you can interact with people in the streets or in the supermarket, this requires one level of English, and if you go to another situation, it might require a different level of fluency, right?
Exchange pleasantries with shopkeepers or whatever. But is this really fluency? I don't think so. There are different ways of measuring, levels of proficiency in a language. There's the European common framework of...
and then he will talk about how we can measure the proficiency in the international standards of not only English but any other languages. We have a classification like A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, C2, right? It starts from A1, A2, and then it goes up until C2, right?
reference which divides proficiency into six levels from A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, C2.
Yeah, you
In
see.
my view, B2 is where you are fluent. So that's
Yeah, in his opinion, he says that if you are B2, you are able to communicate in a certain level of fluency. So yeah, I think B1, B2 is okay, right? You can communicate quite well. Yeah, but and then of course I'm not sure the whole video, but just to show you some opinion regarding to this topic, and then I will bring in this guy. Oh, this guy looks like me, white beard, right? Let's see what Teacher Will has to say.
It's Teacher Will, and in this video, I want to talk about two words that I think are extremely important as it relates to your journey in English. Those two words are fluency and proficiency. Oftentimes I get asked the question, Teacher Will, how can I improve my fluency in English? What does the word proficiency mean as it relates to English? Well, if you don't know, I encourage you to watch this video. So here we go. These are just my thoughts, my opinions. Take it for what
Let's
it's
see.
worth.
Let's see the opinion of Teacher Will.
Fluency is defined as the ease or flow of talk.
You see, define the ease, how easy you can speak, and how you can flow and engaging into the conversation. The smoothness in your conversation, right? This is fluency.
Talking, the smoothness, how fast you speak. Fluency in English is a lifelong process.
This is a lifelong process. It doesn't happen from the night to the next day, right? So it takes a process, right?
That's right, it's a lifelong process. Maybe that's not what you wanted to hear, but I wanted to be honest with you. Think about it this way. To have fluency in your native language, did it happen overnight? Did you become
You see, it didn't happen overnight from the night to the other day. So it requires a long time to get that level of fluency, right? But fluency has to do with the smoothness, how the words flows freely from your mouth, right?
fluent and have fluency in your native language in 1 week, 30 days, 1 month? No. Well, if that's the case, English is no different. Fluency is a lifelong process, and in order to increase your fluency, you have to do something. You have to speak, you have to practice, you have to use.
You see, what we are doing here, we need to practice, we need to speak, we need to blurt it out, right? You need to put the words out of your mouth. That's the way to practice the fluency, right? And then I am encouraging you to do this, right? Don't be shy. Don't be shy. Do like me, right? Don't be worried.
Utilize all 4 language skills and recognize and realize, hey, with fluency, it sometimes can be difficult, hard, challenging. There might be times that you want to give up. That's normal.
Yeah, it happens to me. For example, when I am in a meeting, and then there's a lack of word, and then I can't find the word to say. That's so frustrating, so frustrated. And then at this time, I have a feeling that I want to give up, right? But I will stick with myself, I stick with my thoughts, and then we can come up with a good solution, try to find another way to say, and then things will go well. Good. Let's continue.
But you too can become fluent and have fluency. As long as you recognize and realize that it's a lifelong process and you work at it.
So I will put a little bit forward and see how teacher Will can define proficiency. Let's see. I think now he will define
Time. That's why for most of you, you will see, excuse me, that's why for most of you, you will notice that when learning English, you have different proficiency levels. A1, B1, up.
you see, proficiency has to do with the level, that vocabulary or the level of expressions that you know, right? So again, it has to do with that standard A1, B1, C1, C2, and you see, that kind of thing. So this is the different opinions, one from teacher Will and the other from the Steve Kaufman. And I will put the link in the description. You can go there and check these channels. And another tip that I want to give to you is this guy, right? Because this guy has a lot of useful videos. For example, to be in a presentation, right? To be in a meeting, and different words and formal expressions. This is very useful YouTube channel. And then I will also put the link of Derek Callan in the description. Right? So this is the overall thing that I would like to give you. Let me grow here. Okay. So that's the overall thing that I would like to give you, my opinion. So I don't think for certain areas it's very necessary, is strictly necessary to have a good English level. But for others, of course, you need to have that kind of proficiency. So that's it. That's is all the things that I would like to bring in today. And again, if you like this kind of video, if you like this kind of conversation, please give a thumbs up, put the comments, and your suggestions are always welcome here. And also share this video with your friends, with your family, and with your daughters, whatever. So, and keep doing this and try to make this community grow over and over, right? So, and help me to at least every Friday try to get this kind of conversation in English. So 23 minutes speaking English, that's for me is a victory, right? So you can achieve the same result, but don't be afraid of speaking, right? Because people will help you. Okay, that's it for today, and thank you very much for being here. And next week, next Friday, I'm gonna bring another subject. And thank you very much. Thank you very much. And yeah, that's it. Give a thumbs up, share, subscribe, give your comments, and that's it, my friends. Peace. Thank you.